Yeah.
Oh,
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to your Enchanted FairyLand Vortex. And today, okay, we got the hostess with the mostest, Miss Goddess Osaranga.
peace, y'all.
And of course, it is me, your official fairy godmother, in the place to be. Y'all know what it is. And so, all right. So I feel like we need a refresher, right?
Mhm.
And so remember that I am a fairy having a human experience. Okay. And so for the people that get confused about this, this is what we mean. Like you are a fractal of a fractal of a fractal of a fractal of a fractal. And this goes on throughout eternity. Okay. Fractal piece of a fractal piece of a fractal piece. And so when we say everything goes on a big scale and a large scale. So the macro and the micro. Okay. So it's like just as you see a blade of grass, that would be micro, right? But the blade of grass still got the same thing you got going on in your vessel. There's still a whole universe in that blade of grass. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the example of big level, small level, macro, micro. Okay. And so we are multidimensional beings, which means that we live on different planes of thoughts. You can just think of dimensions as different planes of thought, right? And in these different planes of thoughts, we are having all of these experiences, right? And so there gets to certain dimensions where you want to play in some games, okay? Some different games. And so you might go to other dimensions to play these games, okay? And so myself, my fairy self has come down to this dimension to have a human experience, right? So now some people, what I call higher self, people have completely different definitions of higher self. What most people call higher self, I call the intuition, which your intuition is what I call a collective. So it could be your future self, your past self, your spirit guides, your blah, 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 blah. But for me, strictly, when I say higher self, it's the self of you that's projecting itself into this vessel to have a human experience. Okay. And so for me, that is the fairies. And so, on top of channeling from the fairy realm, the magical, mystical land, all right, I also channel what we call is the fundamentals of creation. Now, this is the template that everybody's spacesuit comes with, everybody's inner universe comes with. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where we're at. So we are fortunate enough to be having so much fun because we don't know the totality, like all these different fractal pieces, all these different titles, all these different expressions. We don't know when this shit ends. Okay. Like when I'm at capacity where we're like, okay, we got 20 aspects, we done. No, I don't know. Okay. And so for the last year and a half, that has been what is taking place is we do these Q&As. And sometimes, well, I would say all the time, except for the fairies and the water, I think are the only ones that haven't made a guest appearance on my shows. Otherwise, everybody else makes a guest appearance on the fucking show. This is how we worked it out. All right. And so, as of right now, we have the fairies. Obviously, we have water, everybody's favorite. We have power. We have authority, another fan favorite. We have Tati, who is the shadow. We have the underworld, which I call her Rolanda. We have Lilith. We have Lucifer, of course. We have resonance. We have the veil. We have the source, the divine source, source of all sources. We have darkness. We got Mama Magic. We got the matriarch. Now, the matriarch represents your ancestral aspect, okay, of your vessel. Mine is the matriarch, or as we call them, the mighty ones, right? Then we have chaos, and then we have our vampiric side, which is Akasha, another fan favorite. And I believe I said reverence and the veil, okay? And then our last superstar who just made a special appearance within this last couple of weeks or months. Shit, I don't even know. My time is I don't even know. It's been over a month now. But death. Dun,
Mm,
dun, 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 dun,
mm-hmm.
So just to give everybody a reminder of all these different aspects that I am channeling. Okay.
So dope.
Go there. Yeah. So what are you feeling?
Hmm.
Did any of that spark anything? Oh, and by the way, we were talking about the mushrooms. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because especially as people, as everyone that's watching this obviously is a reflection. Um this has come up a lot with shout out to the You Thrive Tribe in the building always. With my personal tribes, you know, this has come up a lot too, and in my life, just with coaching, readings, all the things, right? Number one, shrinking yourself. Okay. And then the whole like, I thought it was just me. I thought it was just me, seriously. But it's not. Okay. So this thing with the envy and the jealousy is like real in the field. And there are some of us who are so oblivious to this shit and tell some shit like, boom, like, and then
Did
you're
I
like, oh,
have Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Right. And
Real
it's
shit.
like, oh, this is what's happening because you're not that type of person. It's not in your characteristics. Most of us have these special gifts and shit. And so we don't even, like, our brain is not even wired like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, because most of us are still operating at an awareness where we believe in polarity and duality, then we're going to experience the opposite of energy, or what we're calling the opposite.
You're right.
And so, Miss Osaranga, Goddess Osaranga, tell us about your mushroom trip. She does some mushrooms.
Okay, so yes, on May 1st, the full moon in Scorpio. I I wanted to tap into that underworld energy that Scorpio brings. Um, it was a lot of energy of like just sacred rage and anger and just these intense feelings that was under the surface. And I'm like, you know what? I want to fully I don't capitalize is the word that came up. I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but I wanted to fully like tap in on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I capitalize.
Okay, thank you. So, yep, I took two microdose tablets of psilocybin mushroom. I was with a sister of mine, and yeah, we decided that day that we gonna, do some full moon rituals. We were gonna go to the rage room and just release all of this pent up energy. Um, so we didn't end up making it to the rage room, but we did decide to, go to the dollar store and buy some glass plates and write out all of our feelings. So I set the intention to like release, rage from like abandonment and like dealing with my child's father and the fact that my, daughter, her circumstances, what it is. I was like, I got a lot of anger towards that. And I don't want to hold that because I want to be open to my partner coming, you know what I'm saying? And I want to be in alignment. So I written that down and I written down, friendships. Um, and I noticed that, as I started to reflect that um, a lot of the people that I've met or either tried to collaborate with or work with, everything will start out so perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like the energy felt good. I'm led directly to these people. Things would be going so good. We'd be like this. And then out of nowhere, the energy will start to shift.
Mm.
Um, it get real weird. Some type of like you could tell like it's some type of wall that's being put up. But I started to deal with people who eventually like either felt jealous or felt some type of way, a lot of envy. Um, and a lot of comparison, you know, and I didn't really get that because we are all unique. You know what I'm saying? We all here to do our own thing. I'm constantly like speaking life and uplifting people or just overplaying my role. Like I really do love and I like to I believe in like platonic intimacy and like loving my people. So to
Mhm.
show up to people in such a way and then shit just turn to shit, literally, it made me feel some type of way. You know, so like I started to kind of pull back from connecting with people. So when I took the mushroom, it highlighted that and it kind of showed me how every relationship I had kind of went that way. Besides the people that I just knew was soul family. So shout out to my soul family, or people that's just meant to be there and like has stood those tests and trials with me and like proven themselves by just being themselves. Um,
Mhm.
but after a while, you know, I noticed that I trigger people, and it's something that my human design shows me as well. You know,
Mhm.
I'm meant to trigger folks. Um, so yeah, when I took the mushroom, it took me like I saw myself like standing in like this black like tunnel, um, and it like kind of formed. It's like a black hole, like it went sideways and down. Um, so I was talking to my homegirl about just, you know, certain relationships or friendships I had. And you know, she picked the question, you know, like I found myself getting emotional as I was
Mhm.
talking about it. And I thought that I didn't give a fuck because I really do put a wall up like, okay, well, another one bites the dust, like on to the next. You know, this is why I stay in my hermit mode and do things by myself. But as I was talking about it, I had emotions coming to the surface. And then I saw like my 7-year old self. Um, and then right behind her was like this shadow of like a 12-year-old me. And I'm like, okay, so this is where that pain came from, you know. So as I started to sit with it more, like I asked the question, you know, I thought like, where did this start from? And like I saw myself like start doing backflips going down this tunnel, literally like flipping. And it took me back to when I was 12. And I'm like, okay, like I saw like the neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up in Southwest Detroit. So it's a very diverse neighborhood, but mostly Hispanic. Um, and I saw myself, so I'm like, I started kind of just because again, I'm not deep in the trip. So I'm talking to myself. I'm like, okay, who was my friends at that time? So I analyzed every house and neighbor. And then I remember a specific neighbor that was a friend at that time. And I'm like, oh, it was her ass. Like she the one that hurt me at 12 and like created this pattern for me. You know, like that pattern started with her.
Mhm.
But she was someone who was just real wild, like into everything out in the streets. The young lady got pregnant at 12. You know, she was ghetto, you know, I mean, and I'm
All
ghetto
the
too. You
things.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All the
I don't want to use
things.
that word. I embrace the
We
ghetto.
know what you mean.
But yeah, it was just like this is where this started from, you know. It's like I felt the emotions coming to the surface, and it's like, damn, okay. So then I started going down after her, and like every friend that I met, like in my mom's neighborhood, I had a friend, and she was super close with me. I would let her wear my clothes, and this girl used to go around the neighborhood and tell people that I was wearing her clothes, but it was my clothes she had on, you know. And it's like, damn, like you talk to other people and try to talk down on me. Like, why do I keep getting this same type of energy? I mean, and even to this day, like I've been still having those experiences. So it's like, oh no, like I
They
thought I,
projecting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that I didn't care, but obviously my emotional body, which is this 7 and 12-year-old self care.
Mhm.
So it made me sit with that. Like, yeah, you thought that you were above it, and like your emotional body is still holding and keeping score.
Mm.
So yeah, I had sat with that and just released it and, you know, talked it out. And I felt it literally leaving my body. And it's like, damn, okay. We think you know, some things don't phase us, but the truth is, like, it's a part of us or an aspect of us that still holds on to that and does
Mhm.
feel, you know. So it was a very beautiful trip. You know, it was very intense. But I'm real grateful, you know, because I didn't know that I even gave a fuck. Like I thought
No, right. So
yeah,
yeah, we need to go further into that, right? Like
yeah.
what
Mm.
because there's also, I was just having this conversation just real quick with someone where with dealing with a previous lover, in order to be able to like co-parent once that dynamic ended and just to be able to co-parent, there were spaces in myself that I'm realizing now being away from that individual that I kind of shut off.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then so now being out of that energy, like things are coming online, and I'd be like, "Whoa, what was what was that?" Like, you know what I mean?
For real.
And so I get to talking to the voices in my head, and then it was just like, oh, that's how I was saying to a couple of people that are close, like, I'm in recovery mode type of ordeal. So let's see if we can tap in a little bit more into how to become aware of these. I'm not the question asker, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like these stagnant spaces or these spaces, like how do we become conscious of these spaces that are still unconscious to us?
Yes, that's it.
Because
Well, yeah.
this is the thing. Did you want to formulate it in a different way?
Um, nope. I would say, how do we make the unconscious conscious? Um, because the unconscious is still holding things that we technically don't see, but it still influences how we operate and
How
how
you
we,
operate. Hmm.
and I do know that, we kind of shut things off, and that's the way that our ego protects that inner child or the spirit. I mean, as we know, when we tap in and get closer to spirit, I feel like the full expression of somebody's spirit or soul is that inner child expression. So like as things go on or as things happen in life, we develop this barrier, which end up, being our ego and how we express ourselves, but it's really a protective barrier that we, put up. So like how do we knock down those walls to get back in tune with our true self, our inner child? And integrate that fullness of that spirit versus it being a disconnect because of experiences, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask a particular question? Do you want to ask an aspect in particular, or are we just
I'm interested in what aspect would come up and speak on that. I'm not sure. It could be possibly chaos. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure what aspect to ask, but something about chaos is coming up right now. I've never connected with chaos, but I think that's part. Yeah, I mean that would make sense. Just thinking about the energy of chaos, um, we have to truly connect with that, and to go through those barriers, we experience chaos, breaking it apart. Like cracking that shell to let the light in. I think that's a. hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm
All
open.
right.
I'm open.
We are Alexandria. We are the fairies, and we just wanted to come in and say hi because this is a very good topic. This is a very good question. And before we bring in the mother chaos, we would just like to give a handy dandy note is to remember that deep inside of your vessels, though you humans, you would like for all of the information to be privy to you right then, there, in the now. And what we want to tell you is that most of you are not ready for all of the information to come online at that exact moment when you want it to come online, because it will be very overwhelming for many of you. So there has to be a process
Yeah.
of you experiencing certain experiences with certain outcomes before you can be privy or conscious or aware of certain spaces within your vessel that have been sitting in the darkness, not illuminated quite yet. And this is important because you are still having a human experience. You still have what is called your ego, and you still have your subconscious, and all of these are attached to your nervous systems. And many of you are now starting to become in the know of how important, how critical your power station, your nervous system is, the powerhouse. And so we cannot short circuit, we cannot override your nervous system. And so it is very important at this time that many of you will tap in to your nervous system and see how it is maneuvering, how it is acting, how it is activated, how it can be in a survival space or mode, or in deep fear, anxiety. You call it flight or freeze. And we are saying to you that these things are very important. It is very important for you to have a balanced nervous system, one that is working in harmony with your vessel. Yes? Okay. We are chaos, and we just want to simply say this, that you live on many planes simultaneously. Everything that is happening now, in every moment. You are recycled aspects, fractal pieces of yourself that just keep repeating imprints and what you're calling time fragments. But it is all your Groundhog Day, for it is only happening now. In each and every moment, you can consider this to be an ongoing moment, your experiences in life. Having said that, there are an infinite amount of yous playing this game in this very spacesuit that you identify as yourself in this here and in this now. And for most of you, what you are calling past or childhood is actually not. It is happening simultaneously. And so, what you are calling stagnant or unconscious or unaware of is merely the simple fact that what you are calling reality is so perfect that all of your experiences intertwine and integrate with each other. So you collapse worlds on worlds, realities within realities. You collapse them. And so, if you are aware of every single thing that you are wanting to be aware of or thinking that you are wanting to be aware of, it would be unnecessary and it would drive many of you crazy, for all of these experiences do not hold value in your now focus. And when these experiences come up and they do hold value or prove to be relevant in your time, space, reality here and now, Then this is when you have your aha moments, light bulb moments. Oh, I didn't know how much this affected me moments. It is all because of the dance that you are doing in all of these different realities and all of your different existences. Questions.
Hmm. Um, hmm. So I understand the timing of tapping into these different dimensions of self. Um, and I also understand that some people aren't truly ready to um, be made aware of certain things, just based off of where they're at and what their mental experience at that time. Hmm. I'm trying to get my question formulated. Um, so for myself and me, being able to open up this dimension of self or go through this portal to be made aware of a pattern of receiving a similar energy. Um, was that for a reason now? Is that I'm
As we have simply said,
mhm.
you are in alignment for the information. And so you can now become aware of it. All of your experiences that you are having simultaneously are aligned. And so when they are aligned, they are fitting a common theme that serves you now. And so it is simply what you like to call divine timing, which is alignment, which is the integration of your timelines that fit the theme that has been chosen in this here now focus.
And with this information that I'm receiving, would this be considered chaos or the chaos that we are meant to experience within this human experience?
Yes,
Okay.
this is perfect chaos.
Gotcha. So chaos. Oh, what questions do I have for you while I have you? Um, after the chaos or after I release this inner tension, what is the next step? Like, where do we go from there? Is chaos simply um, gone, or is it transmuted into something else, or will it still continue to show up?
What would be your translation of chaos? We go nowhere. We are everywhere. There is no existence without chaos.
Mhm.
Your very existence relies upon chaos. What you are experiencing now, being able to collect data from the other versions of yourself, replicated versions of yourself, echoing spaces of yourself, is merely happening because of chaos. All of these things going on simultaneously that you don't have to will in, say, command. It just is. Your ability to recognize what you're tapping into now is a different story. But chaos will always be present. You humans have it backwards. You try to minimize chaos. You try to get rid of chaos when the objective is to operate at full capacity of your chaotic self. We are you, you are us. There is no existence without us. So it is you that must delete, delete, delete this program and system of thinking. Otherwise, we will swallow you. You will not survive in chaos where you are meant to thrive in chaos.
Understood. I like to say that chaos births gods. So I do feel like I birthed a higher version of myself by going to those depths and clearing the space or connecting that space. Um, so
Yes, in those moments, perfect time, perfect alignment, you were able to connect with your soul. You were in alignment with your soul. You are actually the character, your multi-dimensional self that is projecting itself into that vessel so that you can have a human experience. It's merely a tool for your soul to have varied experiences on different planes. And so at that time, that perfect time, space, continuum in your reality, you were in perfect alignment with all the versions of you and your soul.
thank you for that confirmation. So what does it look like to move and embody chaos moving forward?
For you and your individual experience, it looks like saying yes.
Okay. So simply put, um, all right. So yeah, um, I am working on, yes, and I can see that too, because even with having the awareness, you still have to put the action behind it. And I can see where I may be hesitant with some things, but simply saying yes opens doors of opportunities. Um, and I guess the opportunity to fully show myself where I may have, shadowed myself uh, for something that I was unaware of, obviously. Um, so yes, that makes sense. Um, hmm. Anything else that you would like to share or that I need to be aware of in this moment?
Here in your near future, your wild side will be awoken. Do not be afraid.
Whew, that inner beast, I feel it. Okay, I should. Um, Let me see what else. Why I got you here. Um, I don't know. That just brought me like so much like clarity. It's like real clear. Um, hmm.
She says you're complete.
Yeah, obviously, right. Um,
No, so just real quick. Um, Because this is very interesting to be able to see, like, all right, so imagine a V, right? Like
Hmm.
a V,
Hmm.
and you're in the center of it. And I mean just you because I'm talking to you, but audience, yourself in the center of it, right? And then as this V comes out, these are all U's coming out into this like V shape, right? And so what I seen was all of these U's have made different choices, have done, different things, but there's still a commonality about all of these different parallel realities. And so in order, it's like a link effect. Like in order for certain things to happen in certain parallel realities, like the all of yous have to be on board in some kind of way with certain things. And I'm saying this in a varied way because it just depends on what that certain thing is. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're wanting to get to the bottom, they're telling me I'm gonna get in trouble by giving an example. um, so we'll just keep it like that. So certain things have to take place with all of these versions of you. Certain spaces got to be activated in order for aspects of you to come online. So what you are wanting to be conscious of or wanting to shed light on, you can want it all day.
Hmm.
But if that totality of who you are, if it's not that's like it's like we call it time, but it's actually just the processes. Like it's so complex because it's all these fractal pieces of you. And then it's also like your higher dimensional self that's having an experience. And then it's also your soul self. Like your soul self is a completely different body having an experience itself.
Hmm.
And like you are the character assisting your soul self with playing out its experience. And so it's like all these different levels, right, have to be in autonomy, have to be like in a marriage for you to even become conscious or aware of certain things.
Yeah.
Faithfully, that made
No,
sense.
it definitely makes sense. It reminds me of like I believe, oh, this was years ago. My best friend was still living at the time. But I remember I did maybe 10 grams laying on her couch. It was like
Mhm.
Sunday. um, and I remember being in that trip, and that would probably be the closest thing I would say to a bad trip.
Mm.
Bad, I just was stuck. Like I
Mm.
felt like I was stuck in the void.
Mhm.
And I would wake up, I would look, I would see everything the same. Like I see the clock on the wall, I see my
Mm.
cup I had next to me laying on the couch. I look down at my body and I lay my head back down. And then I wake up and I see the same thing, look back down, and I kept repeating
Ah,
the same movements, just looping and looping. And I felt I was getting sick to my stomach because I felt stuck, like I couldn't come out of it. It reminded me of that movie with Marlon Wayans. I forgot what it was called, but like he kept waking up in the elevator or something
yep, yep.
like that.
I
But
call it Groundhog Day, but I'm old.
okay, that I can see that. Um, so I remember I started to do something different every time. So like I'll lift my arm up, and then when I go back in, I come back out, and then now that arm movement is added to the whole processing and a loop. So it brought that imagery into my head, and like similar to me, like having that pattern, that experience emotionally as a child, and how that repeated. It's like I guess now that I've went to the root of it and kind of picked the root out, like now it's time to set a different pattern so that it could repeat. And I would love if you could, just confirm that, but I see now it's like now I have a slate where I can. in that particular experience create something new when it comes to the dynamic.
Yeah, so I could just tell you off the top of the mind, like I be saying, the brain and the mind are two totally different things.
Hmm.
And like that has been my problem with discipline and routine.
Yeah.
Is because your brain is programmed, like is easily programmed. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And so a lot of people's problems with manifestation is that they do the same thing all the time. And so your brain begins to predict a pattern and it'll keep you on that same fucking loop, you
Hmm.
know? And so in order for you to manifest certain things, you can't be on that loop. That's you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
your manifestations aren't on that vibration. So it's like important to switch even little things up. Like for some people, they'll move their couch or like where their bedroom is, like move a lamp or, you know what I'm saying, move a this instead of waking up on this side or instead of sleeping on the left or the right, sleep in the middle, you
Yeah.
know. If you don't have a rug on the floor, put a rug on the floor. So that's what your feet touch, so it instantly when you're coming out of the bed, it also heightens your senses. Like, all these different things so that your brain doesn't get on this predictable pattern because your brain is what assists in you projecting out, and the projection out is what material, which is your manifestation. So I do know that, but we can definitely tap in.
Okay, but that resonates for sure. And I felt it, I just want to make sure that I'm in the right space.
Oh, you're
Um,
in a perfect space.
I share. Thank you.
Like your mind shows up and shows out for you. Like, this is a beautiful space for us all at this time.
Agreed.
Because just as you were talking about that loop, like I was just speaking with someone about this not too long ago, where like I was just feeling for a minute that I'm in a fucking Groundhog Day. And I remember sitting at the computer one day and I was like, how many times have I fucking played out this same exact fucking day? And like, we don't get, because maybe you wake up and you put on some different clothes or you switch your hairstyle up a little bit. You know what I mean? But you're still living the same fucking day. You're still living the same day. You're still living in your purgatory. Okay?
Okay.
A lot of us are living in our purgatory. And so it's time to like switch some shit up. I noticed that today I had deja vu again, real, real tough. If
Oh,
y'all have not seen that series, go see it. The Devil's Hour. I was trying to articulate what I was feeling about this deja vu thing, but it's like every time I kept trying to articulate it, it sounded like the basic definition of deja vu. So I just stopped. I was like, "Fuck it!" Like you're not. It's one of those things where you're not gonna get it until you live in it. Like it's so much deeper than I played this out before. And let's talk about it because
yeah.
a lot of people talk about how they don't want to come back here no more. And, we listen to them and we laugh. But, this is a real mental mind fuck for some people. And they are really pissed off and they really don't want to come back here anymore. And they feel very strongly about that. Number one, what's going on is not that you don't want to play this human game anymore. Okay? Because if you didn't want to play it, you wouldn't be here. That's
Hmm.
number one. Number two, what you're tired of is the experiences that you keep having over and over again in this same vessel. It's not like what we're calling lifetimes and all the things. First of all, it's all happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
But there are literally more than you can count numbers of yourself. And so even when you transition, like For most of us, we didn't have an optimal experience. This is hint, hint, hint why we teach about having an optimal experience. Not a good one, not a great one, but an optimal. If you have an optimal experience, you will not come back to do this again in this body, that looks like you. You will go on to a different lifetime and be in that focus instead of having to be in this focus, tuning in to other lifetimes and you know what I mean, being able to travel there but not it be your primary focus because you had an agreement. The agreement was to all of the things that you hear as folklore or fairy tales or Bible stories or common sayings are the breadcrumbs that we left for self to assist us in remembering.
Yes. So beautiful, so intelligent we are.
Yes. And so, like, what you're tired of is having an okay experience, having a good experience, having a great experience. You're ready to have an optimal experience. And so, from a day to day basis, like, that's what type of time I'm on in the now. It's like, okay, how can I make this more optimal? You know what I mean? And really not dealing with people. I got upset with myself, honey, because I had met a person and for a couple of days I was just like, this ain't optimal. But I could be such a Gemini, fairy, flighty. Like, I was like, I don't want to be flaking on nobody, but this just isn't optimal. And so I was like, but I'm on my I don't give a fuck. So no, I'm okay. Like,
I'm
I don't
still
call you no more. You don't call me no more. It's just not optimal. So, like, let me open up the space. Like, it's cool to have a good time and all that thing. I didn't done all that. Like, it's not optimal.
yeah.
And so that's where we're at with the looping. We're living in purgatory. We're happening like we'll transition from here and then hop into a completely another parallel reality and live it out, you know what I'm saying, forget, like all the things. And so now we're at the part of the game where now we done hopped into one of our realities and remember that we're remembering.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can dig that. I've definitely had thoughts of like wanting to just kind of complete all of my lessons to fully remember myself, so I can go back home, to wherever that home dimension is, that planet, that source, and I think it's just because, of taking the mushroom so many times and really seeing the different layers of self. It's like, yeah, like I don't want to keep repeating that. Like I'm gonna learn my lessons now. So it kind of gives me this drive to face things head on. So everything I deal with, it's like, okay, nope, I'm about to
And
deal.
that's how we felt coming in. You know
Mm-hmm,
what I mean? Like you're on that frequency as yourself. Like this is what we all say.
mm-hmm,
Like no, like
mm-hmm.
damn, okay, I fucked. Let me go back into the game.
Right,
Like,
correct. Let me learn what I'm supposed to learn.
yeah, like let me correct that shit or or like especially for people that come in and out of a focus, for like a couple of years. Like their objective might have only been to come in this particular parallel reality. Like, damn, I fucked that relationship up with so and so, so and so. All right, let me go back in. You know what I mean? And like nip that in the bud. And then now I can take this quote unquote timeline and this timeline and mesh them together, and so now this is the perfect optimal, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
But I can say in like going to the different parallel realities of mine, I can see like even in a version of me that's already wealthy. Like I already met her, she popping, love her, but she's not operating from her heart space.
mhm,
You know what I mean? So it's like she's super business and super, ego. So she has all the things. She has a nice home, several properties, islands, all the things. Like the baby is like popping. Like
Yeah.
wealthy as far as the materialism is concerned. But she don't really trust people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The people up under her. It's almost like in her mind she makes and just keeps making money because she know people stealing from her. You know, it's just become a lifestyle of hers, like that she can't really trust people. And so not really trusting people, like she don't really she be loving on people. She be having lovers, but she don't really like really fall in love and completely surrender to the fall of love. You know what I'm saying? And she's so far removed from that that vulnerability is not really a thing.
Mhm.
Sex is not so intimate, you know what I mean? It's just like
But
she got to
so,
be real attracted to the dude. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying? And so that's what makes it pleasurable is the attraction, you know, physical, the physical attraction. It's like, okay, he fine. My nanny just did a jump. Let's go. You know what I mean? And then after several encounters, it's like, you know,
Disposed.
there's no here with it. So then it's like, next.
Yeah. So that reminds me of like the energy of like and this is a past life I'm tapping into, but the energy of like the high priestesses and how, most of them, and I'm seeing myself in the past life where I show myself to be a high priestess, but I didn't have time for relationships. I didn't have time for things interpersonal. I was ducked off in the woods. People would come out and seek me if they needed something, but I was all about my work. And I felt like everything else was a distraction.
Yeah.
I had lovers, but it was when I wanted them, you know what I'm saying? And they do their job and I get back to my work, but nothing I'd had to feed, like constantly pour into. So like I see that reflection with that as you're speaking. Um,
Hmm.
and I can see I see that playing in who I am now. Although
Yes.
I know that in this lifetime that I came here to cultivate love and
Yes.
connections. So
Yes.
that battle, like I still feel that high priestess energy, like, oh, like I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna do my work. I'm too busy, I don't have time. Um,
Yes.
she had everything that she needed, but now you have to learn how to open your heart. I,
Like all of the things, the intertwining between all of the things,
yeah,
like her wealth and my heart, and then in another space where like I was just like a rug for motherfuckers to walk over. You know what I mean? And like, and then in another space where I was such an egomaniac, I was violent, I was this, I was that. You know what I mean? Like all these different spaces. And so now we have an opportunity to take all these different pieces of ourself and make a whole. Like that's what this is about, you know, and why we can't get out. Like when I say everything's happening on a macro and micro level,
yeah,
like for all of yous that are having this, you know, playing in this parallel realities, is for you to take these fractal pieces of all of the yous and make it whole. Because all of these yous are fractal, right? Because they keep making different choices and this breaks out to this probability, creates another reality, you know, all the things. And so our job is to always come back to the one,
yeah,
always come back to the whole. So yeah, I feel like that's why people feel so trapped. It's not that, you know, they're tired of playing the human game, period. They're ready to get to the ending of the so-called ending of this particular, like, damn, okay. But
get
yeah, yeah, yeah.
back and forget all the work I just did in this life to start it all over again. Like, yeah, let me. I'm on a mission. Like, I'm just trying to knock all my lessons down. Like, okay, I didn't learn this last time. I want to learn it now. I failed this test. Let me have patience this time. Something probably I didn't have before, and feel my way through. But I love that you say, connecting the different fragments of it to create this whole. Because that's definitely what it is. Um, So yeah, I ain't gonna keep pondering on that, but yes. Because I'll be sitting in that for a minute.
We
But
love to ponder.
okay.
Questions.
Huh. I guess no questions about that per se. But I did watch a video over the weekend on TikTok, and I want to bring that up and see what you feel about it. But it was I guess it's some like type of challenge on TikTok where people are, lucid dreaming, and in this space, they're fully aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this particular woman, she was in a dream and she was in this diner. And it was people, sitting around in the diner, everybody doing their own thing. And she was fully aware that she was there. So she said she got up from her table and walked over to another table. And it was like a young boy and his mother sitting there. And she just looked at him and she asked him, do you happen to have the date and time? Because she wanted to know what timeline she was in. And he looked over at her, and he was like, "You shouldn't have done that." And everybody in the whole like cafe stopped and looked as well, and then they all stood up from their tables and walked out in a single file line. Um, and there were other videos people having similar experiences where they tried to go into that space and ask like, "What is today's date?" And it's like it just kind of um, erases that timeline. Like you're not supposed to ask or know or whatever. And I was trying to get understanding on that. So I was wondering if you feel anything with that, or if any of your aspects can highlight what is happening in that realm or in that dimension where we try to have control and understand.
We are the fairies. We would simply like to say, as you just said, it is the part of you that wants to be in control.
Mhm,
And so many of you step into these spaces and what you are calling your dream realms.
mhm,
And you like to play out or test certain theories. And by theories, we mean experiences in your mind. You like to test them out. And so this is a space that you can go to where you can test out certain scenarios. And so in this space, what does it look like when you collapse reality?
mhm,
And so, though it appears to just be you and the people doing things mechanically, you are all cooperating together. So maybe your lesson is about control. Maybe another's lesson is about not being in control. Therefore, they are going to stand in the line and they don't have no control over the vessel. And why am I going to the line? And no, no, no. And then there are those that are in the front of this line and they see themselves dropping off, coming to a white room and dropping off, going down into the white windows and in, and then they wake up.
mhm.
And so this is the loss of control. People who are being controlled and the ones that are doing the controlling. You all are coming together in the dreamland and you're playing a little game. You're playing out experiences. Do you understand?
I do, I do. Very nice. Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely piqued my interest, seeing that. Like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But I instantly felt that it was a control thing. So I appreciate that confirmation.
Oh, yes, you are very intuitive one. Hmm.
Hmm. Well, thank you. Okay. So is it recommended to just allow yourself to be in these different dimensions versus testing theories or whatever? Or is it a way that we can go into those spaces and possibly um, reprogram some things?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So We will keep it this simple just for translation purpose. There will become a time in your future dates where you are considering future that we will start to explain to you more these dimensional planes of thoughts. But for
Mhm.
now, we will call this your dream land. Okay? And so, in your dreamland, there are many things that go on here. You can consider this your waiting room to go and play. And so we will say you play games such as we previously said, you want to see how a certain situation will play out. And so you will create it in this room, this clear canvas. Yes. There are certain spaces where you are actually traveling. You will come to this space and you will say, hmm, I would like to see what the version of myself who made the decision to be with Timothy, what does that life look like? And so you will go there from this dreamland space. And then there are some of you where you have things that are deeply embedded into your subconscious and you are very frustrated. But because all of you, the fractal pieces of you, are not in agreement, then you have to come to this dream space and you have to play out certain scenarios in order to become consciously aware of it. Now, the problem with this is that many of you don't remember being in dreamland and you don't remember a lot of scenes that play out there in order to become consciously aware of the thing that you're trying to be consciously aware of. And so, there are many things that go on in these spaces, and we just want to remind you that it is whatever you want it to be. It is purely like your movie that you make references to, The Matrix, where they plug in and they go and they can create different backgrounds. They can have no background. They can have whatever background. They can have the lady in the red dress. They can walk down a crowded street. They can go to the circus. They can go to blah, blah, blah. Wherever you want to go, you can make it instantaneously right in this space, in your dreamland space. You understand?
I do, I do. Um, oh, my question just flew. Oh, so I was thinking about astral traveling. I used to be able to astral travel very easily. And I know around this time where my cousin transitioned from this physical plane, I was empathizing so much with where he was in that moment and what he was experiencing in that moment that when I would lay there and feel myself like levitating from my body, I instantly thought about his transition and I would like, I guess, go into a state of fear and I would
Yeah.
come to my body.
Yeah.
And since then, I guess now that gift of mine is offline. Um,
No, it is the fear that you have deep embedded in your spine, in your nervous system. It still is reacting to it, the fear. And so you are not able to commune with that person because you are vibrating too low and the fear triggers it. And so, what we would like you to do is to continue this practice until you have reached a point to where you are no longer feeling the fear, maybe a little scared, and then you will progress and then you will keep going even though you are a little scared, and then you will actually start to have very, very short trips, and it will start in your mind. First, it would feel like you're dreaming. And then we would like for you to practice relaxing and actually visualize. You are very good with your visualization through your mind's eye. We want you to feel traveling through your spine. traveling through your nerve endings that come from your spine, and everything in flow. No blockages, no flow. Start to feel your body get lighter. First, you will feel the gravity of your vessel as you are laying there. Feel it slowly in your mind. Tell your astral, your spirit self, oh, come on out. Let's go out to play. Come on out. Let's go out to play. Slowly but surely, just imagine your spirit body separating from the spirit body. Then it will go back. Then it will, oh, sit all the way up. And then it will lay back down into the body. This is how your progress will go until eventually the fear will leave. You will no longer be afraid and you will be able to travel freely. But this has to be your process for you because this is you protecting yourself. This is your own defense mechanism. Because if you start to travel the astral and you have this fear, you will have some very difficult encounters that will be very hard for you to bounce back from spiritually because your mind is so powerful. And when you are acting in fear, having these experiences, you can create the big bad wolf in such a way where it will scare the shit out of you. Do you understand?
I do understand that. Yes, I appreciate that guidance. So is this why I do feel a lot of tension in my spine?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I needed that connection. Um, hmm.
You did it yourself. And you will come up upon three more experiences in your life that have caused you a little bit of fear that reside there also.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, I will be meditating on that. Um, are these other situations, are they connected to trans
Men.
loved ones, men? Okay. Oh, I think okay. Girl, thank you. Yeah, I think I can point that out. Goodness. Okay, some more work. Um, what else?
And one of them is not in physical form.
Hmm.
We will tell you this because once you get to the third, you will say, no, I don't feel it. What is it? And we will say, you will look in the back of your mind and you will say, oh, yes, I remember. It was a non physical being. Yes, that caused this fear.
Okay. This is gonna be a nice journey. Um, all right. Would the non-physical being be before the physical ones? Is that the
We will not tell you this.
Okay, you're right. It's time to get to work. I got homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Oh, I don't even know where to go now because that's like flooding my mind. Um,
So, what we would like for you to explain to the people is you brought up the Scorpio and the underworld.
hmm,
What to you is the underworld? This
okay,
is important.
Ashe. So to me, the underworld is my purest, rawest um expression of self. It is the parts of me that well, not in totality, but it contains parts of me that it has not been made aware of. Um, but it is like that pure power. Um, so I know like when I get visions of the underworld, like I see myself fully embodied and empowered and just like badass, but like sexy, um, just full knowing, fully feminine. Um, and then I can see myself in this reality and like see that there are elements of myself that is not in alignment with the stuff that I see in the underworld. Um, so for that Scorpio moon, because it deals with like the bottom of the ocean floor, right? It's those mysterious dark waters that hold so much information. Um, I took the opportunity to dive into those waters to see the aspects of myself that I don't see or I'm not fully aware of in this moment so that I can fully integrate that power or that source, that line into who I am now. Um, so yeah, the underworld, it's not, I don't see it as nothing negative or bad, but it's just that dark, that pure dark, chaotic energy, that we are birthed from. Um, yeah. So with me going into that energy though, I did reveal parts of myself that since have made my inner light or my body like just adjust and stand up taller. Um, and I don't know if I still got aspects there that I need to retrieve, but it was like a soul retrieval. Like my soul lives in the underworld. Um, and I hope I'm not bouncing around. I hope I'm still staying on track with that. But that's how I see it.
Well, we love it. We're watering.
Well,
You just opened up the segue for us to come in and play.
I love it.
And so, what a wonderful definition for the first space of the underworld.
Okay, the first.
Inside of your vessels. We love it because what's most important about the underworld that everyone should know is that it's the space of the darkness. Like what you're calling your light realm, we'll say would be the land, and your dark realms would be your underwater. Your seas. It gets pretty dark down there. Or what you're calling the underworld inside of your vessels, which would be the spaces that you said are just pure, raw, unadulterated. Oh, the darkness. And that's why the dark ones are here right now to remind everyone of their darkness, of their divinity, because how rude, how misunderstood is your divine source. Many of you think that your divine source is surrounded by light and a beautiful sun and all of these angels. When purely, where does light come from? Source, darkness. And so, light can't be source if it comes from a space that you know of, which is darkness. So, just common sense. We just want to say that. And make sure that you all are in the know. There's going to be a lot of magical things happening in your waters here, which is another form of what we're calling the underworld. This is outside of you, what would be considered the underworld, your seas. And we just want to let you all know that there's going to be more bodies showing up. More of you humans have been going down there and you've been playing with the dolphins. And oh, some of you are not going to like this, but We're water. We're going to tell you all the juicy details. And so the dolphins are underwater and they're building and they're a lot smarter than you think. And so they have been using the slaves. So let us tell you. They have been using humans as slaves. They've been using the sirens to sing a song. Oh, and reel in the humans. And so the human beings come down there and they're forced into slavery. And then once the dolphins are done with you, they decide what to do with you. Most of the time, you get on their nerves. And so they just wash you up on the sea. But because what just happened to you is so shocking that you're underwater, now you're not underwater. Then so when you get back on the land, you die because you forget how to breathe. The hypocrisy of it all does not make sense. You humans are so backwards sometimes. You come from land and then we take you in the water and then you remember that you can breathe in water. And then when we bring you back to the land, you forget that you can breathe in land. And so you transition. And so there will be many bodies on the beach, and the people will be like, oh, what happened? Not knowing that they came from the sea. They've been used as slaves. And don't fret, as the fairies say. Don't worry, because what goes around comes around. Unfortunately, there has been some humans that have done some not so very nice things to the sea creatures. And so the sea creatures are just evening out the balance right now. And they're doing things getting prepared for beautiful water worlds. You humans want to tell a bunch of stories. You find all these ships and what you're calling buildings and all these structures underwater, and they're like abandoned and stuff, and you want to claim the history when the truth of the matter is that you humans were doing not so nice things to the lands that are underneath the sea. And so now it's time for you to rebuild and course correct. And so that's what will be going on. And so we just wanted to tell you this because there are a lot of you beings that are still having a human experience, but you were once sea creatures, and so there's going to be a lot of things going on with your vessel that you might not quite understand. Maybe there might be some rage. Maybe there might be some vengeance, and you don't know why. And you'll see certain humans, and you want to just take it out on them. And it's because you're feeling your other dimensional selves. But what we can say to you is that this is a very exciting time for your consciousness because you are aware of your other dimensional selves. And this is happening at such a rapid pace. If you keep it up, you're going to see dragons very soon. And we mean here on your physical plane. But it's so magical now that you guys can see the mermaids, you can see your sirens, and you are coming to the acceptance of the alien. So all of your multidimensional selves are being able to be seen here. And this is wonderful because your level of awareness is expanding. And the more and more and more your level of awareness expands, ooh, 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 guess what happens? You get your heaven on earth, your bliss. And what does this look like when you can have all of your multi-dimensional selves here present and it be what you say all good? That means you have a love for creation. You realize that you are the creator and creation itself, and it becomes a big party. Hmm.
I love that. It's interesting you brought up dragons because that popped up in my mind as you were talking, maybe right before you spoke on it. Um, so I was made aware that I have three dragons like on my shoulders that walk with me and protect me as well. Um, I've experienced them show up in situations to protect me, like making a person super hot or like, like get the fuck back type energy. Um, so yeah, I have this deep connection with my oh goodness, okay, yes. I have a deep connection with my dragons and I just had the memory, I had to have a surgery probably back in like 2018. And I remember before going into surgery and before the anesthesia started, I started a meditation where I connected with my dragons. And in that space, while I was up under, I utilized that as a time to travel with them. But could you enlighten me more on these dragons and the possibility of them um, becoming more visible or more in the collective's conscious awareness?
Well, as we have said before, it's wonderful that everyone is getting in tune with their dragon selves because this is what you're calling your primordial selves from the times of the memories that you can retrieve, going back as far as you can retrieve them. You are all dragon beings. That was your original space student. So what you're calling primordial, we like mystical, magical beings. And this is what this vessel, she's here to remind you of your ancient self, your primordial selves. And this is a very high dimension with a lot of wisdom there. In other words, a lot of data has been collected there. Hold on.
Oh, wait, who's
We're Lilith.
Lilith?
Should have known we were coming for, but let us simply tell you this as the dark mother incarnate having a human experience. It is now time that you meet your dragons. It is soon time that you will have your snakes here at command.
Hmm.
But you have to be ready for your snakes because that is pure power. And you must get in tune with your full power. Yeah. It's time to orchestrate strategically. We have an agenda in that vessel that you're calling you. We have a supreme agenda. And so now is the recognition of the power of the flame that burns inside of you, Dark One. All the mothers that have come before you, all the mothers that have come after you, that are here now, activate within your vessel. It is a lot to handle, to maintain this frequency, to handle all of the dark forces. And so it's really time to play.
Okay. I felt that all in my body. Yes.
We're back. You've come online to your mystical magical selves as you are now seeing mystical magical beings everywhere. And there's so many people becoming aware of their mystical magical selves, the dragons, the vampires. The snakes, the reptiles. Oh, these are mystical, magical versions of yourselves. You like primordial. We like mystical, magical. We are the veil. And our only purpose here is to remind you that there is no veil. We are here to remind you of all the illusions that you have created. The illusions that you have created are anomalies. The anomalies were created because you were not living an optimal experience. And so you created byproducts, which are called anomalies. Many of you are living your life as an anomaly, which you should not. You should be on the forefront at the driver's seat, away from all illusions. We
Mm,
are the greatest illusion. There is no separation at all.
mm, mm.
We are reverence. We are reverence. Here we are. Here we are. We want to remind you. We want to remind you of who you be. Harmony. Harmony. Mm.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Bars. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love how you just like glide in and out of your fundamentals of stuff. That was beautiful to witness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot.
Mm. Do share.
I'm trying to figure out where to start. Um, it was funny that Water was showing me what she was showing me because we're like it's like we almost think of dimensions like stacked up on top of each other or something. And it's so weird to say this, but like we call it traveling, but it's like you're not really going anywhere. It's like you're really just in the same space and this illusion of what you're calling veils is lifted and you're now just able to see because you're now vibrating higher on these frequencies. Like, think of every space as a frequency,
Hmm.
like even Earth,
Hmm.
right? As a frequency. And so you have to be a vibrational match to like operate in these frequencies. If you're not vibrating high enough, then you'll have what we call like bad trips, even though you're in these like frequency places, you know? Um, so that was interesting as Vale is talking and is like, there's no illusions anywhere. And then okay, set that down right quick. So when Water was talking, like what the fuck? Like human slaves?
Oh yes, I wanted to ask about that more. But keep going. Okay.
No, but like a long time ago I had this vision and it was like all these buildings underwater, right? But it's like I was saying, like the colors change of these structures depending upon the energy, of the creatures that's surrounded by these structures. And I don't know. It's like everything's so dull. Like they're down there working and they are like in a hypnotic space. Like almost like, you know, when you're having a dream and I don't know if how many people have had this experience, like where you're in a dream and you know that you're dreaming, but you can't stop the dream. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have any control over it, if that makes sense. But you know that you're dreaming. And so it's like that type of space is where they're in. Like they know where they are. You know, they know that they're having this experience, but they don't have any control over their vessels. Like, you know what I mean? And they're just working. Like, um, and everybody's happy.
Hmm.
Everybody's happy. But, you know, for those that feel some kind of way, okay. Every era, you know, like there's beings that have a certain theme. As we said, even as the fairies, if we come in an era, we're always here to create a certain harmony, a certain balance. And so if we come in and the humans are operating at a space where they're calling in for duality because they need more of a challenge, meaning everything is all happy go lucky. You know, they're remembering too fast. They're finding this game boring. You know, they're checking out of it as happy as everybody's supposed to be, you know, and vibrating so fucking high. You know, they're checking out and they're creating this drama, you know, because now the loved ones are feeling what? Pain because they decided to transition, you know, so this creates a whole thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So then you have those beings that come in and what is their job? Like to unalive, right? Because that's what y'all evolved to. You started unaliving yourselves, you know, and you so we have this contrast that we now believe in. This contrast, right? And so our deal is always to bring the harmony. So now you have this contrast here. And so we're going to bring it from the other extreme and try to get it into the middle. And so sometimes that looks like being a part of the crew that's assisting with the unaliving, you know. And so having said that, there are a group of individuals that came in during these so-called eras and were doing what we'll call now low vibrational things to sea creatures and, you know, all the things going down there destroying shit. You know, there was a real popular time where so called treasures and golds and, you know, all these things were being sought after and precious metals, you know. And so these underground cities were being raided. And so while to the people on land, like we're starting to get into the space where we're coming out of like barter systems and we're getting into like status and, you know, all the things, the beginning of that process. So these materials or minerals or metals, these precious metals are super crucial for this status, this power, this, you know, now newfound currency, but not realizing that you're actually destroying people's or creatures like whole lifestyles. You
Like,
know what I mean? Like, um, so that was their theme back then. So it only makes sense that now that they're in this focus, that they're going to experience the opposite, which is assisting in rebuilding what they destroyed.
and it makes total sense though, putting it like that.
Yeah. So everybody's happy.
I love that. So I wanted to ask about the sirens because, like, I know
Oh.
that they, was told, the stories of how they, will sing and it put you like in a trance like state where you just abide and flow. What you said, like you are aware, but you have no control. And this is how they lure people there. I just learned that, just now that they become slaves in that moment. But I always wonder what did they do with these people. There has been rumors of some people, coming back, but some don't. So you said like moving forward, it'll be a lot of like bodies washed up on shore. Um, is this to say that their work is completing by these bodies coming back? Um,
No, it's never complete because I mean, just like there will always be, what we're calling like a land species, there will always be water species and creatures and especially sirens and mermaids and the dragons of the water and serpents and all the things. This is very ancient and before your like primordial. I mean, people call it the same thing. We don't call it the same thing. It's like what most people call primordial is like the offspring of what we're talking about. So yeah, they'll always be there. The job is actually just beginning
okay,
because we are becoming now aware. So for us, for our translation, this is what we call the beginning.
resonate.
Um,
The
this is
big,
how the shit works for real. Like we are just now coming aware of it. So it's the beginning.
hmm,
Um, and my siren self was so activated, and I like seen myself, and I was like, oh shit. I can tell y'all that it is definitely going down, and they want me to make it perfectly clear that there's gonna be these bodies on the beach. And it's not like, people are gonna be saying, oh, they washed up from the ocean or whatever. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be like, how did this happen? Like, did these, like this person have a heart attack where they just, it's like gonna be all these investigations and then it's gonna be happening so frequently where it's like, yo, like what's really going on? You know what I mean? Like all across the United States and then all across the world. And, especially in this, uh, what way is that? Africa? They're showing me Africa,
okay.
especially over there.
Hmm.
They are mad. And you want to know what's really weird? Let's talk about it. All right. So what's really weird is I get led to certain information and I don't be knowing why, but I just retain it. Okay. So let me tell you this real fast. So what had happened was it was this guy that came up in my group and stuff, and he was like, we come from Africa, blase, he going in. And I'm like, no, we don't. We right here. I said, if you trace most of our ancestors back 5, 6, 7 generations, they all come from America. And I was like, even the oldest bones was found right here in what we call the Americas. Okay? They come from damn Africa. That body that they found over there ain't nowhere near. It's too young. It's too young. Okay? Then the motherfuckers that was found over here. Okay. So I said, either way you want to put it, we ain't come from there. We come from here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, respectfully, if you feel that way and you feel that strongly about it, take your ass back to Africa. Okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward. The kicker was he was like, so how do you explain the DNAs and da 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 da? And I was like, I don't want to hear that shit because go Google it. And the founder of, you know what I'm saying, the major companies and the CEO, they got together and they said that this shit they have been bamboozling motherfuckers. And it wasn't true. Okay. I said, look up the Oprah situation. Just Google it. Okay. And so I'm gonna set that down right there. And then so fast forward, I'm watching something. I might have even reposted it. I was like, you see something, it just be so shocking, and you like, it's a social media, it can't be real. Like they just be lying. But then it was like, they're using the DNA to track people. Now, this I know for sure because I didn't have some people, I didn't regress some people that's going through that shit where they've been stalking them through the timelines and stuff like that. So I know that that shit is real. Okay? And they do it about the DNA. They track the blood and they be like, okay, that is her. She came back as, or that was him and she came back as a her this time and they got the blood and they know. Okay. So this is real.
Close.
And so they was like, they be using the DNA to track the people. And then they was like, so the people that's up into Africa, especially the Ghanas and all of the things. Oh, the Ethiopians. Oh,
Oh, definitely.
they was naming the names.
Mm.
Do you know what they had said, y'all?
Tell me.
They had said that more than 50% of them is the Caucasian.
Hmm.
They dark skinned Caucasian people.
Okay.
I
Hmm.
don't know why, but it resonated in my vessel. I
Okay.
was like, oh, this makes so much sense.
Hmm. So what are Caucasian people?
Girl. So the people, okay, so this is a story. Okay, so it's so many stories that come up into one thing. But I had channeled this at one time. But okay, so what had happened was there was an experiment that was done. And so people was messing with some genetics and everything. And then so what happened was they had made a human and these humans was used originally as like slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like you know how they got robots and stuff now? This how them humans was supposed to be.
The superhumans.
And the it's called something something mountains is where
Cauc-
this experiment had take place, and this is why they call them Caucasians.
okay.
Okay, over there in that territory, over there in that land right there. And so what had happened was they started enslaving these peoples and everything. And then people that look like us, the people that look like us, they started taking over territories and they was ruthless and shit. So other countries started kicking them out and they was taking over and everything. And so to hide their hand, what they had did was actually turn the slaves into motherfuckers with power. You know what I'm saying? And they still the authority. They look like a same skin tone and everything, but they rich as fuck. They stay behind the scenes and don't nobody really be knowing about them. But we think that it's the people that we call the white people, the Caucasians, that's in charge when they still only the puppets. And so what happened was they were supposed to go from land to land to land to land and integrate with the
Hmm.
indigenous people of the lands.
Hmm.
And if them motherfuckers is at 50%,
Hmm.
I mean, no judgment, no bias, but I'm just like, y'all can't be further from indigenous with 50% of the science experimentation running through your blood. I mean, you know?
Yeah.
I
I,
mean, most of us on a bad day is like 25%.
mhm.
They had got the 20, not the 25 times the two. You know, I mean, like seriously, on a bad day, it's like 25%. You know what I'm saying? Most people to get it done, it's like, you got 5%, 7%, These motherfuckers is at 50%. And see, that's what I'm saying about the shit that your skin tone do not matter. It don't matter. How many light brights do we know? And then how many albinos? When I was young, what happened to the albinos too? Has anybody heard anything about that? I just noticed that. As I got older, less and less. I mean, we see albinos all the time, bro. All the time. Now, what had happened to the albinos?
Yeah, I don't see them as much no more. You are right. I see it. I used to always run into an albino person, a redhead, super light, fair skinned person. I don't see them no more.
What happened to the albinos? What happened to the redhead black people?
Yeah. Well,
We from the Midwest.
I guess I,
Now,
I guess
some of your family, right? When I was young, my hair used to like turn orange, and I don't want to be telling people all my business. But anyway, I'm from Chicago, so it was popular. Like it was a bunch of redheads, like everywhere, dark skinned redhead people. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, I don't see the motherfuckers nowhere. Where they at? What happened?
yeah. My family, they
Really?
were born,
Albinos?
aunt and my cousin were born with red hair. My aunt's red hair kind of lasted most of her life. My cousin's, his hair changed. But, and my grandmother, honestly. Yeah, my grandmother was a redhead too. But I don't know. I wonder. I never even thought to go on that rabbit hole with that. And
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it was very prevalent going up. Now I don't see that no more. But my point is that the skin tone do not matter. And the people had done the blood work on these people, and they was mostly Caucasian.
but see, I feel like that's like some type of alien DNA. Because even speaking about the people that's in power,
I mean, what does
I,
alien mean? What does alien mean,
I,
first of
I
all?
don't. Everything
Alien is just something foreign, right?
foreign. Yes, yeah. I feel like it's something that's just not human. I don't. I think alien
Something foreign.
something. It could be a lot of things.
Exactly.
But these people in power, I see them as being, foreign to humans. They have a higher level of consciousness. They are aware of, other life forces outside of Earth or whatever. Which even with that, I question now. So
That's a whole rabbit hole, but I want you to keep that in mind so we can discuss that on the next show
okay,
because we
yes,
can go all deep in it because it's popular right now. I don't like talking about the alien shit, but I just got to get used to it, especially at the end of this year and then the next year coming. Like, it's going to be some shit going on with these aliens. We talked about it last year, trying to get y'all ready. But the end of this year is going to be really popping. Next year is going to get super duper crazy, weird. Um, and we just got to get used to seeing things that don't look human.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And we got to get used to these multidimensional versions of ourselves and don't let no one narrate these stories for you.
yes.
You
Oh,
know,
yes, yes, yes.
it is your multidimensional selves. It's actually like we were just discussing a time to really get excited. You know what I'm saying? Because our as a collective, our consciousness has risen to the point to where we can now have the experience of our outer senses having a multi-dimensional experience. You know what I mean? Like we've done so much shit inner work, that now this is what we're projecting out. Our mystical magical selves, our alien selves, people are which has been kind of happening, during like the near death experiences, people seeing what do you call them things, child, with the wings? That the angels.
Angel. Like
The angels, I was gonna say aliens, same difference.
same
But
thing.
they're just a cuter version of an alien. I mean,
Yeah,
let's just keep it real.
true.
I mean, I did a whole show on it with Nigel. Y'all can go check it out at the You Thrive Coaching channel, where he gets into the aliens and the cherub. I know I said it wrong, but those that know the cherubs. Yeah. Anyway,
Uh, okay. I never know how to pronounce that, but I see it in my head.
yeah.
Like syrups or syrups.
Yes, yes, that's the word.
Okay. I don't know if that's pronounced right. I just see the word. Uh,
Eh. Well,
okay,
everybody know how I slaughter words. So,
girl.
chirp. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Well, I'm
Say it
here
with confidence.
for patience. I definitely have a lot. I could ask a lot of questions with that. So tune into the next show, y'all.
Tune in to the one, yes, after this. And this will be fascinating too for me because I don't know a lot about any of this shit. I've never been interested like at all, but it's I guess time for us to have this discussion on a deeper level, and so we will. And so we love y'all so much. Anything you want to send the people out with?
Oh, um, don't be afraid of exploring self and recovering parts of self that may be lying dormant,
Mm.
as it will awaken you to higher versions of yourself. So, yeah, no fear, awareness, no fear.
No, and then the baby steps.
Baby
When
steps.
you are in a space of feeling fear, right? Baby steps.
Mhm.
This is my promise to you. I have talked about it all the time. Okay. With the sitting in the dark and a fairy just pop up life size like, I'm you, you're me. Hi. I'm Alexandria and I'm blue. I already know what she looks like, but it's like, damn, bitch, really right here? Physically, you had to show up. I can touch you and everything. Damn. Okay. I'm me and you, me. I'm me and you, me. I'm me. you know? So
Yeah.
it's like that. I'm transparent as fuck. That's some
Mhm.
scary shit to me? So it's like just sitting in the dark, actually feeling the energy of a being and, slowly working the way up. And then now, like I was explaining, like first I was seeing little tiny, teeny, tiny little fairies. You know what I'm saying? And so now we done got to the size to where they're like hummingbirds and like a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? So like I'm still going there, but slow and steady.
Yeah.
So slow and steady with whatever your fear is, whatever you're afraid of, but definitely making those steps. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so we appreciate y'all. Don't forget to book y'all readings. I say do it both. Like go big or go home. You know what I mean? You got the both of us. Go ahead and take advantage. Ow. You know?
Yeah.
Go check out that Patreon to step into the membership over there. I am literally guiding the people through their inner senses and how to work that shit out. We are doing subconscious work because y'all know I'm also good at that. And so I love y'all so much. Peace, love, and bliss. Don't forget to donate because it's my job. Okay. It's my job. Description part of the video. Go donate. I love y'all so much. Peace, love, and bliss. And remember, boo, through your heart. Through your heart, boo. And peace.